Hey there, stats students. We're going to pick back up with question 3 on this Unit 7 review. So this was the one about the chipmunk population in a certain area is known to have a mean weight of 84 grams and a standard deviation of 18 grams. Question A asked you to find the probability that a randomly selected chipmunk weighs at least 90 grams, and we calculated this one in last video. We actually found out that 37% of all randomly selected chipmunks are going to weigh at least 90 grams. Then we moved on to part C, which says now we have a wildlife biologist taking a sample of 9 chipmunks, and we want to know the probability that that sample has an average weight of 90 grams. So this question is asking you to find the probability that X bar is at least 90 grams. So we're working with a sample mean. That means we're going to have to do mu sub X bar, and we've already talked about this in the previous video that if I take a good enough sample, my sample mean will be equal to my true mean. In this case, the question told me the mean for this population was 84 grams. I also need a standard deviation for my sample, which is a little different than the population standard deviation. We take that value and divide it by the square root of our sample size. So 18 was the standard deviation for my population, divided by the square root of my 9 chipmunk sample, gets me a new standard deviation of 6. Now I'm ready to go get that z-score. So I have already talked about how z is x minus the mean divided by our standard deviation. That's a formula that you need to know. So I've got 90 minus 84 divided by 6 gets me a z-score of 1. Always draw yourself a picture. Mean in the middle, standard deviations. This z-score is right here at 1 sigma, and I'm looking for the area that is beyond this value. So I'm looking for an x bar greater than 90. So here's my greater than sign. If you're going to go to the table, this is going to be one of those 1 minus whatever the table tells you questions, or we can do this guy in the calculator, normal CDF, with my minimum this time is that z-score. I want to go from 1 up to a nice safe 100 with my mean and standard deviation of my standard normal. I get 0.1587. The table should give you something really similar to that. All that's left is the interpretation. So I'm looking at about 15.87% here. So let's see. It said nearly 16% of samples of 9 chipmunks will weigh an average of at least 90 grams. Very simple interpretation here. We're hitting that it's a sample, the size of the sample, and what the sample was measuring. What was the actual average we were looking for? So beyond that, I think you guys have everything you need for your test on Monday. I hope these helped. I would love some feedback on these videos, and I'll see you guys soon.